Welcome to the second session of today, in which we are going to understand stanza 1 to 4 of the poem The Brook. Stanza 1 explanation. I come from haunts of coot and hern, I make a sudden sally, and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down a valley. I come from haunts. I is here now the brook. Brook is telling us that it comes from the places which are frequently visited by the coot and hern. Coot and hern are the water birds. I make a sudden sally. Sally means to emerge suddenly, to come out suddenly. So it's coming out suddenly from there. And sparkle out among the fern. Fern are the green colored plants without any flowers. And sparkle means to shine. So the brook is shining there as it's coming out from those green colored plants. To bicker down a valley, that means to move forward by making a lot of noise, it's moving towards the valley. Now coming to the poetic devices here used, first is personification. We all know that personification means what? A non-human object or an animal that has the abilities to behave like a human. So here the brook is the word that is used as a personification. Second is alliteration. Now repetition of a consonant sound in the beginning of two or more consecutive words, like the word sudden sally. Okay, that is what? Alliteration. And now the third that is used is onomatopoeia, that is the use of sound to create dramatic effect. Now here which word is used? That is bicker. Next is the rhyming words. You can see the rhyming words there. Hern and fern are rhyming and Sally and valley are rhyming. If you see it in the other way, sentence 1 and 3, the last words are rhyming, and sentence 2 and 4, the last words are rhyming. So here the rhyming scheme, let's understand it. As we know, 1 and 3 are rhyming. Okay, so that is A, and for third sentence also we have A. For the second sentence, we see Sally and Valley are rhyming. So here B, B. So the rhyming scheme goes as A, B, A, B. And throughout the poem, we have the same rhyming scheme that is used, that is A, B, A, B. Now coming to the second stanza, by 30 hills I hurry down, or slip between the ridges, by 20 thorps a little town, and half a hundred bridges. This stanza tells us about the movement of the brook. By 30 hills I hurry down. Now I told you I is who? The brook. Now brook is telling you that it's moving, it's passing through 30 hills, or slip between the ridges. Ridges are those long narrow hilltops or ranges. Okay, so from there it's slipping down. By 20 thorps a little town. Thorps are the villages. So around 20 villages it's moving towards a little town, and half a hundred bridges, and it's passing through half a hundred. Half a hundred is 50 bridges. We have two poetic devices used in this stanza. One is inversion. Inversion is what? When the object comes first before the subject. So you can see in sentence 1, 30 hills is the object and it is coming before the subject I. The second poetic device is alliteration, where the repetition of a consonant sound is there in two or more consecutive words. So here half a hundred. So that you can listen to the sound of her there. So that is what? Alliteration. The rhyming words are here downtown and ridges, bridges. And the rhyming scheme is going to be the same as the first and third last words are rhyming, and second and fourth. So it's going to be here A, B, A, B. Stanza 3. Till last by Philip's farm I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. The brook is telling us here that it's passing through Philip's farm. Philip is the name of a person. It's passing through his farm and flowing towards to join the brimming river. Brimming means that is full of water up to the brim. So it's going there. Its destination is to join the brimming river. And here we can see it shows what? Prosperity. That is, from a small stream, it's flowing towards a big river that is full of water. For men may come and men may go. Now here, What the Brooke is telling us that men, they come and go. They are born and they die. But I go on forever. But it keeps flowing and there is no stoppage to it. The last two lines is the main message of this poem, and that is that man is temporary, short-lived, transient, and men are mortal, but the brook, that is everlasting, unending, and it keeps flowing. Poetic devices in this stanza. The first is inversion, in which an object comes before the subject. So here you can see in the first line, Philip's farm is the object and I is the subject. So here, that is the inversion used here. The second one is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sound in the beginning of two or more consecutive words. And the words are men may. The more sound you can listen, and the second time again in the same sentence you can see men may go. So again the men may, again the more sound can be heard. The third poetic device used here is repetition. Repetition are the words or sentences that are repeated in the same stanza in the poem. So here the words like men may, they are repeated twice in the same line. Okay, and the second thing is that these last three lines, to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. These lines have been repeated further in the poem in stanzas 6, 9 and 13. Moving to the fourth poetic device, that is antithesis. Antithesis are words which contrast or have opposite meanings. So the words here come and go are antithesis. Moving to the rhyming words, you all know the rhyming words here are flow, go, and river, ever. And what is the rhyming scheme? It's going to be the same, A, B, A, B. Now let's move to the fourth stanza. I chatter over stony ways in little sharps and trebles. I bubble into eddying bass, I babble on the pebbles. Now here I chatter, that is the brook is saying that it's chattering. Chattering means what? You must have heard this word when teachers tell you that you talk a lot like a chatterbox you are. So here now chatter means talking a lot. So the brook is saying that when it chatters over stony ways, when it's passing towards the stony ways that is filled with stones, it makes a lot of noise in little sharps and trebles. It means that when the brook is hitting the stones, it's creating shrill voice. I bubble into eddying bass. Bubble means having bubbles. Eddying is what? Eddying are the spiral movements of water when it goes round and round in a circular motion. And bay, that is a landform. When the brook goes there in the bay, it falls in the bay, it gets a big area to flow, so it creates bubbles. I babble on the pebbles. Babble is here what? Sound. And pebbles are small stones. So it's making a different sound when it falls on the small stones. The poetic device here used is onomatopoeia, where it means sound words. So the words that are creating sound in the stanza are chatter, that is a non-stop sound, treble, that is a high-pitched sound, and babble, that's making a soft sound. And the rhyming words used here are ways and bass, trebles and pebbles. And the rhyme scheme is the same, A, B, A, B. So with this, I've explained you stanza 1 to 4, and the remaining stanzas we'll do it in the next class. Thank you for watching.